Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year to you. We are saying goodbye to 2025, which was like, I survived it. And we're going into 2026 with success, right? And in that, I think we're going to get success in some of these cases as well that we've been working. So today, thank you for joining me on this holiday. It's in the United States. It's considered New Year's. I'm not sure what everybody calls it, but welcome to the new year. I am delighted to say goodbye to 2025. It was very rough. But our truth's going to come out, right? So there's been other cases that I want to talk about today that could shine light on the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case. 4 and 6-year-olds that are missing, reported missing on May 2nd from Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, Canada. And this is going to take us on a whole new level. So I'm not even sure how to even begin with what I have to share with you, but it changed my whole perspective. And after that, I just feel like there's no way back for me. After thinking this through, I'm like, isn't that interesting? So I'm going to try to explain to you and express to you what I have been feeling, thinking, and share all this. We've been hitting hard on Daniel, the man, the boyfriend, right? Really hitting hard over here on this channel, as well as other places. And what do I mean is we've been focused on his every move, his every word, and so forth. And I still am, because he's not off the hook. But I've said from the beginning, this has to be, and this is my opinion, that they're all involved. Because they were all three there. Jenny, Malia, Daniel were all there. How could one be guilty and the others not play a part or a role? So there has to be like a triangulation of something occurred and then the others covered it up. And there's just, for me, that's where I'm staying. I through this entire time since May 2nd, and I mean, what, in just a few days, we're at the, what is it? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. In just a couple days, we're going to be at 8 months. So Daniel's thrown Malaya under the bus more than a dozen times in so many different ways. Remember the comments he made? Like he came on here and, well, not here on my show, but on the web, online, and he made this statement, along the lines of treating Malaya kindly and not attacking her and so forth, because it could reflect on his daughter, Meadow. And you could be like, well, there's a whole suitcase of guilt to pack along for me, right? Because we haven't been kind to either parent, really. But at the same time, is it really about how parents feel when kids are missing? I don't think I'd be paying a lot of attention to online speculation if my kid was missing. The only thing I care about is where's my kid, okay? So we're going to break this down in a way. I have a poll going. I'm going to share it to you right now. And it says, do you feel that Malaya could have done something to the kids? First answer is A. She gave up too quick. Yes. We're running at 55%. We've got 61 votes right now. We're just starting. B, no, I do not believe she would. 13%. And then C, not sure, but sus to me. 33%. So if I really look at this, only 13% can say in their heart they're ruling Malaya out as a perpetrator. So doesn't that leave 87% of people that believe she may have been responsible in some fashion or way? So we've heard so many things. Like, I can just hear Janie's voice at any given moment. All I got to do is think of Janie and her voice, and the things she has said are in my head, and they replay. It's almost like I'm going to need therapy after this case because of Janie's voice. But it's all about really looking deep enough that we don't leave a stone unturned, right? Leave no stone unturned. In other words, look at every single avenue. And I thought about this. This is where I can't get past this. All right? Now let's start with the timeline shift part. Hello, Miss Bus Driver. Hello, hello. I like your name, and welcome to 1111. Jeannie Hendrickson. Hello to you, lovely. Ruby for Justice. Welcome back. Hey, Admit Audacity. Welcome back, lovely. My beautiful Allison. Hello, love. My babies are my armies. Janie's voice gives me migraines every time I hear her. Why do you say that? Right? Would you? Okay, new poll. Would you rather hear the goat scream, or would you rather hear Janie's voice? The goat scream or Janie's voice? I'm serious. Tell me down below in the live. Let's say hello to a few more people. Hi, Nancy. How are you, love? New Leaf, I bet they both did rugs. Kids got into them. Makes them look both guilty. Could be. Jeannie says Malaya is involved in your opinion. What mother only makes one statement and disappears? I agree there. I would be on the news every day begging for the return of my children. Amen. Me too. Me too. Hello, my beautiful Carla. Nikki UK, you gorgeous. Rage, not that rage. Good to see you. I can't find you, Jennifer Swain. Where are you? I know she's here. Debbie Gazzardo. Hello, love. Good to see you. Hi, Dragonfly Love. Hello, everyone. Sending love and light from Pictou County, Nova Scotia. That's the county where the children were reported missing. Ruby for Justice says, ever since Malaya said the word sorrow, I can't shake that. Oh, you guys are right on this. You're on this with me 1000%. Wait till you see everything put together. And then you're going to probably, a lot of you will, think to yourself, I wonder if I can change my vote. If you voted, the 13% of you are going to really honestly have that moment of, wonder if I could change my vote. That's what I believe. Sarah Kelly, Native Pride. Hello, lovely. You said hello, Mama D, and everyone in chat. Wishing you all a very happy new year. Janie may have been fooled, New Leaf says. I think Janie's part of it. That's just my thoughts. Miss Bus Driver says, Happy New Year! Just caught your live on double speed to catch up. Well, you didn't have far to go. We're just starting. Got a lot to talk about. A lot of people are here. So, which one do you guys want to hear? Do you want to hear Janie's voice? Or do you want to hear the goat? Let me know. Nancy says, I listened to her talk 2 times. It was like she was reading from a script. I agree with that. Oh, 1000%. Everyone, please hit the like. Renee Brown. Renee, it's me. Can I change my mind? I love you. Oh, you're so sweet. RKB, hello. After you share repost the poll. Okay, you want us to do it tonight? All right, that'd be a good, interesting thing. If I can remember, I'll try to put a poll in community chat. I'm going to have to make a note because at my age, I will forget. And I'm a note taker, like seriously. All right, handy dandy little pen. Repost poll after live. And we'll see how much it changes. Okay, hold on. Let's give it a click. Let me go down here and get a screenshot of the poll so I know what we asked, because otherwise I will forget. Let me see, where can I put it? We will post it. Not there. Let me see. Okay. We'll post it here for now. I'll just throw it up in the corner. All right, let's go back up to the top. Lot to talk about today. So do you know who's in the thumbnail? Do you know who this is right here? So we've got Malaya, and we have the children, Lilly Sullivan and Jack Sullivan, right? Get your votes in. Hey, Kat, how you doing? Good to see you. Hippie Queen, welcome back. Aw, hi, Renee Brown Love. I've ever listened to the goat. You'd rather listen to the goat. That's too funny, Nancy. I agree with the goat thing. Hey, Barbara Bonnet. Hello, lovely. The goat. There's a lot of you that legitimately want to hear the goat over Janie. So I'm going to give you the goat. Happy New Year, you guys. All right. I've got a note. Hopefully, I remember it. I'm going to put it in my note spot. Now I just have to remember I have a note. That's too funny. RKB in the house says, hi, all happy, healthy 2026. Sending you guys all kinds of love, right? Justice must be served. I think we're getting very close. When I'm done today, and this will be a little extra longer video probably, just because it's the holiday and we have something to deep dive into that is, for me, I don't know if it will you, it changed everything for me in this case. Like, I'm on this now. So we'll see. Nancy says, I did not like when she said the kids are autistic. She had to put that out there in the very beginning. I don't think they are. And then she also messaged her mother when she told the mother that the kids, I don't know if she said ran off on her. I think to Belinda she said, I don't think the kids, Belinda is the biological grandmother of the children from the father's side. And I think to her she said, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't think the kids would run off on me like that. And then if you go over to her mother, she texted her mother, I told you they were autistic. As if this in some way proved that the children were autistic. Rach says your version of Jamie's voice cracks me up. Cat loves the goat. You guys, the goat's going to be in the shop soon, so check out our shop over here. If you want the goat, it will be in for 2026. We're going to be carrying the goat. So that way you guys can be like, I want to scream with you at home. There's aha moments where we grab the goat. Hello, Magma. Happy New Year from the UK. Good to see you, lovely. Nancy Simon says, was the kids acting up that night? Ooh, you guys are like reading my script. And she said to Daniel, do something or she might have to. Ooh, wow. Were you in my dream last night? I don't know. The Canadian Cat Lady, welcome back and good to see you too, lovely. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Jennifer Swain, there you are, my love. You said 2026 is going to be a good year, y'all. I love your y'all. You love my channel, Magma? Thank you, lovely. My babies are my ones. Oh, cool. Can't wait. Oh, no, I can wait. This gets kind of wild. So, I asked you who this is. Who do you think this is? Somebody give me a name. I need to know who that is. Hey, Brookie Cookie Butterfly. Joining a bit late. You're never late, honey. You're always on time here. We love you. Barbara Bonnet says, I need the goat. When's the next shopping? Is it tonight? You can shop anytime. The shop is always open 24/7. I fill orders all the time. I usually fill them within 24 hours. They ship out unless it's a holiday. So last night's orders cannot be filled until Friday, but otherwise it's always next day I ship. Oh, Carla, you get pinned. Can I make you bigger? Oh, I can't. All right, Carla says it's Susan Smith. Who's Susan Smith, you guys? My babies are my ones. Susan Smith. Rach says Susan Smith, I think. Correct. Aw, I love you too, Barbara. Thank you, lovely. Yes, Jamie Brown, Susan Smith. Why is that important? Well, today we're going to be looking at Malaya in depth. We put the heat on Daniel. And as I said, I am very thorough in my case reviews. I will work through from the inside out of the cases. I go in depth. I push it to the maximum. Every theory I can think of, speculation station, but I keep the core center always solid and the stake in the ground where the facts are. So every theory I'm building from, we have to see if it holds water. No pun intended, because there's a lot of water leakage in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case. Aw, Brookie Cookie Butterfly, thank you so much. Thank you, you get the goat. Thank you, sweetheart. That is so kind of you. I really appreciate that. Ooh, Carla, Susan drowned her 2 boys, then blamed it on a black man. Do y'all remember that? That's right. That's what I've been waiting for someone to share. Yup. So true, she sure did. I want you to listen to this real quick.
Begin this half hour, though, with the case that transfixed the nation 2 decades ago. Susan Smith, a South Carolina mother convicted of murdering her 2 young boys by driving them into a lake. Well, she's now speaking out from behind bars. NBC's Stephanie Gosk is here with more. Steph, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Savannah. Well, the Susan Smith story captivated the country in the mid-90s. At first, there was heart-wrenching sadness for a mother who said her kids were kidnapped, followed by horror when she admitted to killing them herself. Smith's letter, written from a prison in South Carolina to a reporter this week, is a kind of explanation for something seemingly inexplicable. Signed simply, Sincerely, Susan.
Susan Smith is finally giving her side of the story in a letter written to newspaper reporter Harrison Cahill from her South Carolina jail cell, 20 years after she was sentenced to life for killing her 2 sons.
I am not the monster society thinks I am. I'm far from it. Something went very wrong that night. I was not myself.
What? What? I am not the monster society thinks I am. Something went very wrong that night. I just wasn't myself. What? You do not need to ever get out, lady. You do not. You are still a monster. You are a very bad monster. Something went wrong that night. I just wasn't myself. Wow, that's like the definition of downplay. Like downplay, right? Downplay. Hold on, I gotta make a note for something else. Downplay. All right, so something went wrong that night. She just wasn't herself. Okay. Did you see those two babies she was holding? They were crawling around. Oh, they were so beautiful. And you look at this woman and you're like, she did this? She doesn't look like the kind, right? Aw, Carol Johnson, thank you, lovely. Prayers for Lily and Jack and Darius, Summer, Sebastian, and all. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for praying for the children. Also, thank you for the $10.99 Snooper Chat. Thank you, my love. I so greatly appreciate that. You get the goat. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Brookie Cookie Butterfly, a freaking monster through and through. Exactly. Dragonfly, love, welcome back. You had an out-of-body experience and lost control, but I didn't harm my children. Wow, good. I'm glad you didn't. Those two beautiful boys, how could she? How could she indeed? Let's go ahead and listen to her some more.
The last time she spoke publicly was in 1994. A distraught mother begging the public for help in finding her boys, 14-month-old Alex and 3-year-old Michael, claiming they had been kidnapped by a black man during a carjacking.
I can't even describe what I'm going through. I mean, my heart is just, it just aches so bad. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't do anything but think about it.
But in a job...
I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't even explain, I can't.
A dropping twist, just days later, Smith confessed to police that there was no kidnapping. She said she strapped her boys into the backseat of the family car and pushed it into a nearby lake. Now, in the handwritten page-and-a-half letter, Smith writes, "I had planned to kill myself first and leave a note behind telling what had happened." She also denies years of speculation that she killed her sons in order to be with a man who she was having an affair with. "I have yet been able to speak on my behalf. It has been hard to listen to lie after lie and not be able to defend myself. It's frustrating, to say the least." But Smith ends her letter by raising more questions, writing, "This is only a small piece of the story."
Smith.
Okay. Is it frustrating for Susan? Is she frustrated? Who gives a flying fudge at Christmas how she feels? She didn't give a shit how her children felt. So, it just doesn't work. I had moments when I could have pulled my hair out, but I would not hurt my children at any cost. I agree, Amanda. Burwine says she's crying for mercy, but those poor children can't cry anymore at all. Let's go back up. I saw a comment. Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you. Oh, Mama, I love the goat scream. It's the best. Thank you, sweetheart. We've had the goat for a long time. Yeah, glad. Yes, Miss Bus Driver, I am so glad she was denied. Oh, my gosh. Liam, hi, love. You say no signs of guilt on her face. Man, I love your little picture. NYC Boomer. Wishing all the very healthy and happy 2026. Thank you, NCY or NYC. I do have dyslexia, so forgive me. Marky, welcome back. Happy, you say replay crew. You not replay. You're here on the live, darling. Happy New Year to you too. Hey, Quartster. Good to see you evening all and listening, but won't be in chat. Happy New Year, beautiful family. Thank you, lovely. We will miss you. She's sick still, right? Bewind? Bearwind? Yeah, she's still sick. because her lover didn't want kids. Okay. So her motive allegedly was that her lover didn't want kids, right? Rach says, I said right at the start that Malia gave me Smith vibes. Everyone said no. I've never said no to that. I haven't. But I do believe a lot of people do feel that she doesn't. But I think she does. All right. So, let me move this around a little bit. I got to grab it. And we're going to bring it up here. Okay. I'll share this with you. Trial. In 1995, David Bruck and Judy Clark served as co-counsel for Smith. In her opening statement, Clark argued Smith was deeply troubled and experienced severe depression. Clark told the jury, this is not a case about evil. This is a case about despair and sadness. The defense's theory of the case was that Smith drove to the edge of the lake to kill herself, take her two sons, but her body willed itself out of the car. Okay. Quote, this is not a case about evil, this is a case about despair and sadness. That made me think of Malaya saying she was filled with grief and sorrow, not grief, pain and sorrow. So they're saying, the defense counsel's saying that Susan Smith was overcome with despair and sadness. And then I look at Malaya and I'm like, that's so weird, because if for some reason that Malaya had a defense counsel and there was a trial, that could be claimed too. It's a very, very weird. But I think she gave one thing for sure away. That I think we just excused it. I think we created an excuse, right? We were like, well, this reason or that reason is why she would have said that. But in all actuality, it's not normal to say what she said in her interview. And she only gave one verbal interview to the media, right? And in that, do you remember her saying, I told my partner, Daniel, do you hear the kids? Do you remember hearing that? Anybody remember hearing that? Carol says, my concerns were that if she fell out with Cody when Jack was a new baby, perhaps she fell out with Daniel when Meadow was a new baby. 3 babies in under 6 years is a lot of environment instability. I don't know. I agree with that. Anybody remember that? Her saying that? Otherwise, we can play it. We can play it. Let's listen to this.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home.
I know you've heard it.
I want to hold them. And I want them home.
How about you want them safe?
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us.
Listen.
And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids?
What? I know it doesn't seem like much, but when we really think about things, it's a statement. It's not a question. It's a statement. I tell him, do you hear the kids? It's almost as if she knew to key him up. Like maybe he wasn't observant, but he couldn't hear the kids. Wouldn't that be something? Now I've got a very serious question, and I need you guys to really put your 2 cents in with this. I've done complete research and cannot find it. But at some point, it became part of my knowledge, and I need to know where I got it from. If it's real, if I've imagined it, it doesn't change the way I look at this case. Well, it will if I can find the place where I got the info from. So, I have information overload, okay? But is it somewhere, or where did I get this? Is it just rumor? Okay, I'll ask. Don't get excited, or I'll give you the goat. The question I'm wanting to know is, did somewhere along the lines, did Malaya say she fed children supper that night at all? Did she feed them any food at the trailer? Supper. Because they got home at 3:30. So we got all night. Did you ever hear her say she fed them a meal or any kind of food? Number 2. Did any of you hear that she bathed the children? Or that she started to bathe them and got too tired? She ran a bath, got too tired. Anybody hear 1 or 2? Did she feed them? Was there something about a bath run, but then she got too tired from a long day, so she put them to bed in the same clothes? Did anybody hear any of that? I'm checking if I'm muted, but there's such a lag on YouTube. No to neither. Annie? Neither. James Brown? Tina? None of you heard about that she ran bath water and that she didn't use it? That they didn't get a bath? Okay, Carla, that's what I heard. That a bath was run but didn't bathe them. Nope and no. Y'all never heard that a bath water was run. Her speech is a little pushed. Okay, so you never heard that she fed them at all. Me either. Did you hear that she ran bath water but was like, it got too late? You don't recall either? I don't remember any of those things. No bath, and out to bed in clothes that they wore since they known. Okay. I guess it really doesn't matter. I wanted to know. Carol says, I've never heard about bathwater, only that she gave them something to eat and they watched something on TV. Very ambiguous. I don't remember anything about food, that she gave them anything to eat. It's like she didn't feed them. Nothing motherly was heard from Malaya. I don't remember hearing she did any of it. Okay. No, I didn't hear that she fed them. No, it's nowhere. I read the records. I don't see where she fed them. I didn't hear the date. She didn't even think about giving them a bath. Okay. Unless Daniel said it. I think he said that there was a bath run, but she didn't even bathe the kids. She put them to bed without baths. I think that's what I heard. But it's neither here nor there, because obviously I may have dreamed it at this point. I mean, I'm just being honest. Didn't hear about the bath water, but heard the following morning when the police came, there was water in the tub. Boom! There it is. There's water in the tub. Thank you. I knew I got it somewhere. I knew it, that there was water in the tub. There's water in the tub. I knew. I'm like, I couldn't have dreamed it. Yeah, I'd never heard of her doing positive things. It's not like she didn't have any support. Her mom, her friends. Right. Okay. Did anybody else hear that they found water in the tub? Well, I didn't hear, however, somehow about sorrow. What the fuck? Tina says, what I did hear, however, was something about sorrow. What the F? Yeah. We'll get into it right up here in a minute. Valerie, I heard that she was so tired she put them to bed with their clothes on. I never heard they got a bath or fed. Right. Oh, well, I'm a local and didn't hear that. Okay. Right, my babies are my ones. It's in the documents. It does not mention anything about dinner or a bath. Just that they watched some TV and maybe played outside. Full tub. Dragonfly lover. I know I've heard it somewhere that they found a full tub. Either Daniel said it or something. Here's my problem. I think they flipped the timeline. Instead of it being AM when whatever happened to the children, I believe it was whatever time it was, but it would be PM. So if the children are gone at around 8:30, where we all kind of feel that they're, Jeannie's like, I may have heard him as early as 8:30. Okay, let's take it to PM. Because Thursday's missing. Nobody knows where the kids were. I think they were outside. Nobody knows where these kids are. And I'm wondering if when Jamie's making the description of Malaya standing with metal on her hip right there where she had raked, right? And Janie says, what's up? And Malaya says, the kids are missing. Janie says, how long? Malaya says, maybe 20 minutes. Okay? I'm thinking about this tub of water, okay? And maybe they let it out and there was no tub of water. It doesn't matter. A lot of these women that have extreme postpartum, or they're just not right in the head, our monsters can pull off this act that they're completely innocent and that they care and that they love their children and they only want them happy. They want them home. They want to hold them. They miss their smiles. And you're like, oh my God. Prime example of this. Leilani Simon. See this precious little boy over here? His name was Quentin Simon. Do you remember this interview? Now keep in mind, she is now serving, let me just see what it is. I want you to listen to this real quick, okay? Let's go here. Mom, who said she wanted missing toddler found happy and alive, was just convicted of killing him. Leilani Simon, a Georgia mother who claimed she was hoping police would find her 20-month-old son, quote, happy and alive when he went missing in October of 2022, was convicted of his murder on Friday, October 25th. Simon, 22, was found guilty of all 19 charges against her in connection with the 20-month-old son, Quentin Simon's death more than 2 years ago. Quentin was first reported missing in early October 2022 when his mother called 911 to tell the police the boy had vanished from his playpen at the family's Georgia's home. Days later, police publicly stated that Simon was the, quote, prime suspect in Quentin Simon's disappearance, while she continued to maintain her innocence for more than a month until investigators discovered the boy's body in a nearby landfill. I want you to listen to this mother.
I'm here. I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station. It's less tears and more anger, not knowing what's happening, if that's even understandable. You wake up every day angry, hoping that you're going to get a phone call, and that phone call just doesn't come out of this. But mostly we want him not to be found in that landfill. We want him found happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and we're hoping that, you know, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point. I'm here. I've been here every day since.
Enough of her. Did you hear the grandmother? Most of all, we don't want him found in the landfill. Well, that's where the baby was. And she probably knew that that's where they were going to find that baby. And they didn't want that baby found, because then Leilani was going to prison. And indeed, that's where she sits. So we can choose to buy into sniffles, but your gut told you when Leilani, she's not called Leilani for nothing, all right? When she gave that interview, the doesn't cut it. There's no tears. It's fake. Just like Susan Smith's was fake. It just blows my mind. Allison says, yeah, right? What the fudge? The grand spouting out the exact place he was found. The most important thing we don't want is the baby found in the landfill. Well, you could excuse it. Of course you don't want your grandbaby found in a landfill. Who would? But it's leakage, because that's where he was and that's where they knew it. And they didn't want him found, not because that he would be found deceased, but because it would send the mother to prison and maybe the grandma. Carol Johnson said, or Joe, do I say Johansson? I think it's Johansson. Leilani is a psychopath. She was hateful to Quentin from the time he was born because she had anger toward his father. She excluded him. She treated him less than. She fed him less than. When you say less than, you're talking about the other sibling. So if you were to look at it and try to excuse Malaya and be like, well, if she was going to hurt the kids, why would Meadow be okay? Different daddy. Can't say it's not true, because Leilani protected the one kid and killed the other. Like Rebecca Haro. Nikki, so heartbreaking. So many parents hurting, even worse, to their kids. Yes. Liam says, all these liars talk through their nose, I've noticed. That's true. They want to get it sniffling, right? They want to get it sniffling. Dragonfly says 18 minutes to Pictou County solid waste landfill. Isn't that something? Carol Johnson says, yes, Leilani singled Quentin out, treated him differently than her other two children. He was always fed last, if fed, right? Clothes last. He did not have a real bed. He had least choice, and she hated him. Semi Miami says, the landfill thing crossed my mind with the Sullivan kids, but the scent ending at the driveway, and when they called, would be after garbage pickup. Okay. It's so heavy, right? Carla, God bless these children. Thank you. Just about to type that Meadow's dad is right there, so nothing happens to her. Okay. Let's talk a little bit. This woman I think it was Jennifer Swain brought her name up, so I did some research. Andrea Yates. At the time of the murders, the Yates family was living in Houston's suburb, Clear Lake City. Yates continued under Dr. Syed's care until June 20th, 2001, when Rusty, the husband, left for work, leaving her alone to watch the children against Dr. Syed's instructions to supervise her around the clock. Rusty's mother, Dora Yates, had been scheduled to arrive an hour later to take over for Andrea. In the space of that hour, Andrea Yates drowned all 5 children. Yates started with Paul, then moved to Luke, then to John, and then laid them in her bed. She then drowned Mary, whom she left floating in the tub. Noah came in and asked what was wrong with Mary. He then ran, but Yates soon caught him and drowned him. She left him floating in the tub and laid Mary in John's arms in the bed. She then called the police, repeatedly saying she needed an officer but refused to say why. She then called Rusty and told him to come home right away. Later, Yates confessed to drowning her children. Prior to a second trial, she told Michael Warner that she waited for Rusty to leave for work that morning because filling the bathtub, she knew he would have prevented her from harming them. After the murders, police found the family dog locked up. Rusty advised Warner that it had normally been allowed to run free, and was so when he had left the house, leading to the psychiatrist to allege that she locked it in a cage to prevent it from interfering with the children one by one. Okay? So I keep going back to the moment where we don't know what happened on Thursday night. If we were to transfix everything from AM and turn it into PM, and it not be 8:30 AM, but 8:30 PM, when something happens to the kids, that's when Malaya's putting the kids to bed, right? Because Daniel had nothing to do with that. Janie doesn't know what goes on in the trailer. It's been alleged, whether it's rumor, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt, that there was found a tub of water. Just going to say this. Even if they didn't, it could have been the water released, you feel me? So at some point, I do believe that Malaya was standing right there where Janie raped. I think she was holding Meadow on her hip. Now, why was she there? I don't know. But I've now begun to wonder, is it possible with both Daniel outside and Janie allegedly outside, not knowing what's going on in the trailer, if Malaya had a moment? She couldn't control the kids. Daniel said that. Even his boss let him go home early so he could help her with the kids. You notice Malaya went into the store, the Dollarama, without the kids. She left Daniel and the kids for 7 minutes. She leaves them with Daniel. She doesn't know what to do with them. He says she can't control the children. I have a voice they listen to. She's even said he has a voice the children listen to. She can't control the children. She had an episode and had to go to the hospital. Sounds like a mental breakdown. Where Janie handed the bus driver Meadow so she could get Jack and Lily unbuckled and off the bus. That's the only time that Janie got to babysit Meadow. There's mental issues surrounding Malaya, even from Daniel and everybody. Even her side of the family suggested The kids were always filthy. Why would there be bath water? They didn't even get bathed before Christmas pictures. Their nails, it's just black. Why is there bath water? While Janie and Daniel were outside, is it possible that Malaya just came out of the trailer, went over and just stood in the driveway strangely? Because remember that whole thing where Daniel and Janie pulled this whole thing where they were like, she looked shocked. She looked like she was guilty of doing something. There was something there. There was something there where they were suggesting she looked weird. And I think Janie was like, Malaya, what's up? Is it possible that Malaya didn't say to Janie, the kids are missing? But what if she said the kids are gone? The kids are gone. What if this was at 8:30 at night and not 8:30 in the morning, or 9:30 at night, not 9:30 a.m.? What if the timeline is flipped simply by exactly 12 hours? I could see Janie looking at Malaya going, why is she standing all weird in the driveway? Especially because it's in the evening. And would you say, where are the kids? I don't think so, unless you and Daniel are already outside. Where are the kids? Now, Dragonfly says Meadow maybe kept Malaya safe from Daniel. She has some bruising. Looks almost like somebody plunged her head down in the water also. Did he lose his shit and push her under the water? Did that leave bruising? I don't know. To use for a different purpose other than bathing the bath water. Hard to breathe. You almost feel like things are. This is heavy. Okay, now listen. I could see where now we have a big problem. If Malaya has, if, hypothetically, the mother is just standing in the driveway, looking unemotional, but looking like she may have done something, holding the baby on her hip. Is this 8:30 at night? And is Janie saying, what's up? Because she's like, what's up with Malaya? Why is she standing so weird in the driveway? Did Malaya say the kids are gone? Did Daniel race into the house being like, what do you mean the kids are gone? Because he would have looked all over. It's at night. She was supposed to put him to bed. Did he flip the light on and see them tucked in their bed and think that's awful strange or awful quiet? Was one child in the bed, but not the other? Was one child laid in their bed? Isn't that weird how she said something, didn't she? Let me go get it. Let me go get it. I want you to listen to what she says. Let's listen for a minute.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next...
I want to hold them. She always says that. Did she hold them? In the bathroom? Underwater?
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it...
Hold on. Listen closely.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them.
Remember, these are the same things that these other women have said that are serving life sentences.
And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside
She's
us.
so calm.
And I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet.
I think they were outside playing. I think they may have went into the trailer and it was bedtime and they were hyper. I think Carol's onto something here. Initially, she gave a bedtime of 8 to 8:30. It then changed to 9 p.m. It then changed to 10:30 as one point. She said the children were hyper and excited, but she got them down to bed. She got them down to bed. Hockley Glen, Hockley Glen, Global Mail has a news article today. What I got from it is RCMP are leaning more towards criminal activity rather than the kids lost in the woods. It's coming, you guys. Jamie Brown says that fake cry reminds me of the Harrows. Yep. He put the kids in water. I think he got wet when he had to get one out of the tub. I think when he looked in the room, she had laid one in bed, and there wasn't another child in the bed. Maybe Jack was not in the bed, but when he turned the light on, perhaps Lily was in the bed. So he was looking for Jack, and was there a tub of water? They're not the type of kids, but they go out of the door. Right, Mariana? Right. Sammy Miami says, I think you're pretty intuitive, and I'm feeling a lot of what you're putting down. There's more, y'all. There's more. Carol says, Janie already said it was a criminal investigation. She said the reason she cannot see any of her grandchildren is due to the criminal investigation. That was Janie McKenzie 2 months later. I feel you. Okay.
Quiet, and we get up and...
I want you to think on this. This whole thing about nobody being able to hear the kids all of a sudden. They say the room was silent. Daniel, Janie, and Malaya all say it fell silent. Couldn't hear the children anymore. If Janie and Daniel were outside just screwing around and Malaya went and stood in the one spot with Meadow on her hip and Janie was like, what's up? If Malaya did not say what Janie alleges she said the kids are missing, in my heart of hearts, I think she said the children are gone. And I think that they were like puzzled by that. That's why they were so suspicious of Malaya. And if Daniel went in there and he turned the light on and there was one child in the bed but not another, did he find the other one floating in water? Were they both? Had they met their demise that way? Is that, oh, she quieted him down and put him to bed? Because she couldn't handle the children, but she wanted to leave Daniel. There was always something pulling her back, and she's always coming back to Daniel. Why? Why is she always with Daniel? He's telling us, Janie's telling us, everybody's telling us, Wade's telling us, she cannot handle the children alone. So if she's going to make her break for freedom, it's not going to be with the children that she can't handle. And if she's mentally not balanced, not well, she just had a baby. She could have had postpartum to the point. She's like, I need out of here. I'm not going to make it. And lost it. I'm not excusing this by no means. I'm saying, is this a possibility? Now, at that moment, okay, they're going to rake that driveway because of Daniel's tire tracks. Why? Because he's going to have to use his vehicle to get those kids out of there. That's why he's going to say his vehicle broke down and park it over at Earl's. Because when RCMP get there, the vehicle's broke down. Daniel's vehicle's broke down. It's over there at Earl's. They do a little flashlight check for the kids, don't see the kids, and then go about their business. But yet, we've got Brad Wu and Justin talking about this whole back and forth driving, and it's his car and it's loud and it's a 5-speed and it matches Daniel and you can see headlights and blah blah blah. And then Brad Wu gave the exact path that Daniel describes he took in the morning. So Daniel took the whole thing twice. He took it once at night and then he repeated it with Malaya's car in the morning, so that if anybody saw him, he could be like, no, I didn't go till the morning. I was in Malaya's car. See, he obscured it. He doubled up. All right? Now here's the thing. I want you to think of this. This is something important. Let's go over to Daniel for a minute. Listen to what he has to say. Why would Daniel have ever covered for Malaya? Forget about love. We're talking about 2 children have met their demise in this theory. Hypothetically, these children have been taken out in his bathroom on his mother's property. Why on earth would he cover for her? I think he tells us why.
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning?
Yeah.
But you don't feel that now?
No, I don't feel that at all.
You feel me? Because it's his word against hers. He's going to be the prime suspect, right? Out of the 2. He's like, oh my God, what have you done? Right? In this theory, okay? So now Daniel has to go into cover-up mode. He doesn't have to, but he might go to prison if he don't, kind of thing. Marquis says, and that's why Daniel was so surprised she left, as he was covering for her. He said he was running around like a moron. What say that about searching for kids? Unless he knew it was pointless. Marky, you're nailing it. You're nailing it. What's the matter, Laura, love? Laura, got this. Oh, you got the flu. I pray for you. Might have. I like simple things. Hello, lovely. Spent the evening getting rid of the math lab equipment because he anticipated RCMP in the morning. So, think on this. That could be why they were all trying to blame Malaya for this. Malaya did something with the kids. Malaya did something with the kids. But they have to make it sound like the kids are alive, because otherwise it could come back on Daniel and Janie. But they can't resist throwing that shade. Why didn't Malaya step up to play it, right? I know. I hope you don't get the flu any worse. Laura says stepdad is always prime suspect at the beginning. No, Daniel, pal, you only become a suspect if you are sus, pal. No, Laura, I have to disagree, love. I love you, but that's not true. He's 100% correct. 1000% correct. Step parent is always main suspect over primary blood parent in the beginning, until the details come out and they can look at it and da-da-da-da-da. But that is true. Marky's like, no wonder she's gone into the hospital. Her mental health must be bad. Let's talk about this. Now, if that were all true, if this theory were to hold water, listen.
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind.
He could answer it correctly and pass a polygraph. Let's scoot a little ahead.
It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do, because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive?
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about,
I
did
think
you
you
take
guys
them
are right.
somewhere?
No.
Could they be somewhere?
Listen.
No.
Listen to the last part.
To the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive?
Yeah.
No longer alive.
There were no...
I bet you they found that bathwater. Why would they have been so positive that the children were already deceased unless they found evidence, kept it close to their vest? Could it have been simply water in the bathroom? In the bathtub? This case. All right, let's talk about some things. Meredith Place says, unfortunately, Lilly and Jack's situation checks many boxes of neglect and endangerment. They were very high risk, especially if Malaya was planning to leave. 1000% true. You get the goat, Meredith, because you deserve it. Look at Daniel's ankles. Liam says, I think his trousers have been in the wash on high heat and shrunk. That's funny. That's too funny. Laura says, my friend's daughter was SA'd at the age of 5, and her stepdad was not suspect, nor her biological dad either. I think we have to agree to disagree, Mama, but I love you. And I love you too. Just going by my own experience. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate your opinion. Liam, he always looks like he needs a wash to me. Just saying. All right, you guys, let's talk about Malaya for a minute. All right, remember when she said we're all filled with pain and sorrow? Let's go listen to Malaya for a minute. We're gonna do her whole, what is this, 2 minutes? Okay, it's almost 3 minutes. I'm gonna let this play, and then we're gonna break down all kinds of issues. I want you, while you're listening to this, not only listen to this, but think of all the red flags of what I've said now, and these other mothers like Leilani, Susan Smith, the way they behaved. Look, yes, she gave up quick. It's still 55%. We have 172 votes. Not sure, but sus to me is 37%. And no, I do not believe she would hurt the children at 9%. We're going to go ahead, end the poll. Okay, so 172 votes is pretty good. All right, let me switch over to live chat. I don't know why I wasn't. My tube, hello, lovely. Giving me chills reminds me of Andrea Yates drowning her kids. Yes. His trousers are hanging at half mast. Thank you, Joanne. Oh, that's too funny. Carol says, I found her extremely detached because she never used either child's name and she never said she loved them. She never asked if someone had them to please return them, and there was no urgency, flat effect. You nailed like a lot of what I'm going to be sharing. I mean, you get the goat, Carol. You get the goat. Because you deserve it. You're right on the money. I do appreciate your opinion, Laura. I know you appreciate my opinion and everyone else, Mama. At least we are allowed opinions on this channel without, where are you? Without you going off on us like other channels I shall not name. Very good, very good. Yeah. Okay. Prime Candy, hello, love. I miss you. You're undecided. All right. Miss Thornton, hello, lovely. This is just like Sebastian Rogers' Kate, the stepdad, doing all the talking for the media while the mom says nothing and do no searching. And might I add, Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily, it's the people that weren't even technically there. Well, we can take Lily and Jack out of that, I guess, because Daniel was there. Okay, never mind. Point mute. I messed up. Hey, Tina Kent, listening while cooking supper. So in the Summer Wells case and the Sebastian Rogers case, that's where my point will be made. In both of those cases, the one talking is the one that isn't even allegedly there. They allege they have an alibi that puts them a long ways away, but they do all the talking in the case. It's weird. It's just weird. Carol says, I love the damn goat. Ah! I do too. Heather Marie, love you, dear. Love you. Love this channel. Thank you, love. Prime says, don't forget to tickle the like button. Could be the last like of the year. I hope not. Show Mama D some love and subscribe, y'all. Thank you, lovely. Liam says, yeah. He's not the smartest kid on the block. We have to have a little bit of humor, or we would all be so depressed on this shocking case. So true. Was the bruise on her neck from Daniel trying to stop her? I got to thinking, what if it was already over and there was still water in the tub? What if he almost drowned her, like plunged her down? Being like, what have you done? I mean, you know. Oh, thank you, Carol, for going out and hitting that like button. And it felt great. I know it did. Thank you. This is a great time for me to say thank you to every single one of you. This year has been amazing to be with you. All of the support to this channel has just caused us to grow and grow and grow. And I love every one of you. I really appreciate you. Look how far we've come. Look how many cases we have worked. And we're going to continue to work together. That's all we can do, right? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me half of you haven't liked the video. It'll break my heart, and I want to go into the new year with a full heart. Please like the video, or I'll sing. You don't want me to sing. Okay, so he stopped drinking up Friday. Mrs. Thornton says, in my opinion, the moms of all these cases did it, period. The stepdads are covering up for them. All right, you guys. Let's listen to Malaya for a minute. I have to run tinkle. I'll be right back.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Friday morning, allegedly, at this point, it's being stated that the children have been reported missing around 10 a.m. The day goes by, they search through the night, it's raining, all that. Malaya is now giving an interview on the day after. It's not even 48 hours after these kids have been reported missing. And she's saying that last night, the first night the kids are missing, was one of the worst nights. Not the worst night ever, but one of. So there's others. There's others that are worse than the night your children aren't in their beds. Why does she always say she wants them home in their beds? These women that have shown us from, they often, after doing this to the child, lay them in their beds and tuck them in. They like snap. They do this. They'll leave one in the tub and they'll lay the other in the bed. And they'll do it with, this is what's so strange is water often is involved when it's the mother and when it's multiple children. 5 of them or 3 of them or 2 of them. You feel me? It's often water. It's often multiple children when they do it. The Amish lady that drove her golf cart off into the lake and just was like, God, I handed my children to God. All of them. Right? So I don't know why it's water with these kids and these momsters. Right? It's really, really strange. House Music says, so Diem is covering up and getting all his fame. In my opinion, Netflix will knock. Netflix, open up. I don't even know why that cracked me up. I cracked myself up. Nikki, says, it is a free button, y'all. Hit that like button. Mama would love you lots if you did. I'll love you either way. But it would be so wonderful to have a like. Valerie says, thank you, Mama D. Love your YouTube. It's the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. That was my piece for the year. Yes, Allison, when she tells this story about her missing children less than 48 hours after they're gone, I know it'd been raining the night before, but like I said, are we really going to give all these excuses? What does she mean by, I imagine they were wet and cold and now it's sunny? Or they're warm, right? It's creepy. It's water leakage. Tennis type. I hiccuped. Sorry. Tiny's Time says, Happy New Year to everyone here. It's just sad for the poor babies, Lily and Jack. Indeed. Very, very, very sad. Carol says she vacillated between kind of insulting that they got out, that quiet back door, but also that someone may have adopted them because she's pushing, in her words, for an Amber Alert. Was, you think about Rebecca Haro, that Ola Monk knocked her out, blamed a Mexican, somebody that speaks Spanish. Susan Smith blamed a black man, as she put it. Now, you look at Malaya, she doesn't seem attached to these children. Everything we heard, even from Belinda, is when she got with Daniel, even the photographs she was seeing on Facebook, the children, it was less and less, and they weren't clean. They weren't being cared for. Wade says that they weren't being cared for, the stepdad of Malaya, properly. Wade even alleges that CPS, or how did he say it? That Daniel's older children told CPS that Malaya was locking them in their room. Okay, Carol, good point, good point. Who the fudge says it would be nice if everybody could be alerted that they were missing, really? What are their names? What did they look like? What are they wearing? When did you see them last? Okay, never mind. Carol, you did it again. You get the goat. Thank you. This is just, wild, wild, wild. You go on to say all of her excuses to the RCMP, or she doesn't remember. She can't recall what they ate. She can't recall if they were awake. She can't recall what they were wearing. She can't recall their bedtime, nothing. You're right. SM Mac says, this honestly makes the most sense, and Daniel may have turned the light on when he realized something was off. And can you imagine if there's not both kids in the bed? What if there's only one and he's just tucked in, or she's just tucked in? And so you're looking around all over your house in panic trying to find where's the other child, and you open the curtain in the bathroom, you turn the light on, and you see nose and toes, and that's it in the water. And all the water leakage with Daniel saying it's the water that you have to pay attention to, not the mud. Saying, that the internet is like a sea of lies, right? And that the lies will rise to the surface. Saying he was waist deep in water. I bet he was. Prime Candy says, Liam, I don't drink. Y'all talking about your New Year's toast. Carol says Malia also deleted her Text Plus app, which would have given the RCMP a much clearer picture of Friday morning that she called her mom at 8:28, the school bus at 6, RCMP at 10, 4 hours, never saw Jack. Jack was gone. Yeah, we all wonder that. You're so good question. Majestic Blue says, why are a 4 and 6-year-old running rampant with no supervision while adults are behind a closed door sleeping? It doesn't make sense. It was going to be wet in that spot. Is that when they brought the babies out of the house, could they have laid them in the driveway and they would have been wet? Right where Malaya had stood, because there would have been the stench of death. Did they scoop out the ground and take that away and put new ground there and rake over it and stamp Jackie's little boot print on there with his little boot that they have? Why didn't Jackie have a coat? Raking to cover up where the pool was setting at? There's something there. There's something there. I think you're right. I have. No one imagined it was bath water. If Malaya would have done this, there would be certain cues, if you will, that we would really need to look at. So I wanted to go over a little bit about this. Like, you know, Thursday night, we have no timeline. Is it because they flipped Thursday night into Friday morning? Meaning that if they say 7:30, they mean PM, not AM. You feel me? Like everything happened 12 hours exactly before that. That's why they waited the way they did. So that they would always be able to be on the same timeline and keep the time consistent. Because it'd be real easy to remember 3 a.m. even though it's really 3 p.m. Right? That's very possible. Yes, they absolutely obscure evidence in the driveway, created false alibis by saying they have heard the children that morning, misled investigators by planting a boot print and drive. All right, and then Daniel just goes and puts his car up on blocks over Earl's and says, hey, it wasn't me driving around at night that my neighbor said my car didn't even work. I've been driving Malaya's. Check her GPS, you'll see where I drove. Right? So he does the bath twice. Miss Thornton says maybe it's not the bath water, but the pool water instead makes more sense to me, in my opinion, with the rake and the grandma saying, oh, that's why she's was ready to be put up the pool for the kids. I have to disagree. I love you very much, but it's too cold for the kids to be swimming. So I think the pool was just BS. Kylie's nail candy says no need for a pool in Nova Scotia at that time of year. They went missing. Yeah. I agree with that. I think it's the bath water. I know I heard it somewhere, whether Daniel said it or something, that the RCMP got there and there was bath water, but no baths had been given. So that could be why they were like, who killed the kids? Daniel, did you kill the kids? Malaya, did you kill the kids? They weren't concerned who took the kids. They weren't concerned about anything but who did it. So they damn sure must have known if they took every bit of their chance to interview these people while connected to a polygraph machine, they had some knowledge that these children were deceased. What cued the RCMP up to tell the polygraphers, we want to know who killed the children? Because as that interviewer says, she says they never ask you like if you had something to do with taking the children, and he's like, no. It was all about the deceased. I think Jamie raked the driveway to get rid of Daniel's tire tracks. Remember, if Daniel's going to lie and say The only car I drove was Malaya's white vehicle. There cannot be Daniel's tracks because it rained. So Janie's got to get out there and hide all the tire tracks. There can be no Daniel tracks, right? You also wonder, says Carol, about that dragonfly. He said Lily poked her head in, and then he said he could hear the door lock rattling. So I believe the door was locked. He just knew it was Lily. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Carol. I agree. It's evidence hiding. Janie wouldn't have put a pole there. Kylie's Nails Candy says it makes a lot of sense that she was getting rid of the tracks, Mama D. Well, Daniel's car can't be there. If there's a sign, I mean, it rained, and so it's gonna rain, and there's his tracks. If he had not been there recently, Daniel's tracks would not be in the yard. And so if he's using his vehicle to get rid of the bodies and doing the drive around toward Lairg, now Janie's going to get rid of all the tire tracks, right? Mm-hmm. Mrs. Thornton says, yeah, but if he pulled them out of the tub, he wouldn't even be in the water, though. Just saying. He would be soaking wet, though, right? There's a lot of water here. Okay, Carol says, I agree that Daniel used his vehicle to remove the children's remains. He was very obscure initially, and he stated, I immediately jumped in the vehicle, searched all the culverts, dirt roads, etc. I think he got them off that property immediately. JKW says, what if there's blood in the driveway and they scooped up the gravel with the blood on it and took it away with the children? Could be. Could be. Or maybe there was no blood. Maybe they were just worried about the scent. Maybe that's where they laid the children while they figured out what the hell to do. And that's why the scent dog picked up the children's scent by that boot print in the driveway. They added the boot print to explain why the dogs are hitting right here in the driveway, right? Could be where the children were laid. Yes, Carol, that's true. That's true, too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, nobody's going to put the pool up at that time of year. There's just no way. There you go. So if the children, let's go all the way, if the children passed away because of water in the lungs, okay, they're going to be found possibly then by water or in water. Daniel goes out of his way to say this last search with the cadaver dogs or whatever. He was like, the RCMP told me that they searched the waterways and there's no evidence that they were even near water. Yeah, okay. I'll bet you they were. I bet you they are near water because you're counting on enough time passing and a dumb enough RCMP that when the children are found by this water, they'll be assumed drowned. And then the autopsy will reveal water in the lungs. Enough said, the children wandered off and they drowned. Now, if those children in some way are preserved enough, and the RCMP is smart enough to test the water in the lungs, if the bodies have been preserved, would be the only method to realize that these children don't have the water from the river or the lake in their lung. But would that even be there anymore? We're talking almost 8 months. This is just ugh. Rachel Mary, hello, lovely. Malaya has the sort of deadpan look and almost emotionless voice of the severely depressed woman when she's interviewed that first time. 1000%. Bingo, says Annie. Are you okay? The boot print was there to explain the smell of the kids to the dogs. Exactly. It was to cover up the tire tracks of Daniel's vehicle being there because his vehicle's broke. It's being staged over Earl's. We've got that covered. The vehicle that they used to get the bodies out of there. Now, the bodies would have also probably been right close to that area if he's going to pull up his car, right? And so at that point, the dogs are going to pick up the children's scent in that spot where they were laid. So, boot stamp. Tiny's Time says, I would be hysterical if I didn't know where my babies were. Her voice is calm as a cucumber. Lana Lay says, MBM presents as mental. Even the baby looked gaunt. Meadow never walked. Look at her last picture shown at them. Now, look at the newest picture. Do your own research, right? I won't show the baby, but Karen Jones, lovely. If they died in natural water, there would be algae called diatoms in the lungs. Yes, months and even years later. I'm saying they have to be. We have to get our CMP smart enough that when they do find the children, because somebody's going to find these kids and going to call it in and report it right away. They have to be smart enough to test the water in the lungs to prove what we're saying. Kylie's Now and Candy says, I hope before the polygraph, Daniel made sure he was not on rugs as it gives deceptive results. If it were true, he passed. I'm not sure. Now think about it. Malaya was on rugs, prescription rugs. They had to fill the rugs. They went to the doctor for a blood draw. I'm not getting all personal, but I'm just saying. She most likely had medication that controlled her emotion more, right? So is that how she passed her poly? JKW, nobody telling the truth gives clarifying while telling a story true. In the case of Lacey and Connor, Peterson, G, and Connor did not surface for over 4 months. True. Dragonfly, how many trips were heard by BW was Daniel throwing gravel over the bank and planting a blanket and planting a boot print on a pipeline? I mean, good questions. You remember hearing an interview, Janie asking Malaya, what did you do? And remember, all of them claimed Durwood was all about it. Janie was all about it. Everybody, Daniel, that Malaya had come out and she was like looking suspicious and like in shock. I think that was at night. Okay, let's get into this a little bit. I told you it was going to be a super long New Year's Eve with you. Okay. Right out of the court records, let's go peek at this. I grabbed just a couple things. Now remember, we're focused more on Thursday because they flipped the time. Everything that they're saying is AM is really PM because they don't have Thursday. So they had to steal Thursday and turn it into Friday morning. And so that leaves a vacancy, a void of Thursday. So let's listen to what was said. Specifically, this is Malaya's interviews and so forth with the RCMP, right out of the court docs. Specifically, she gave detailed description of what happened on Thursday. Malaya kept Lily and Jack home from school on Thursday morning because they had a cough. She contacted the school through the app at 6:18 a.m. The kids got up and came into the bedroom, where Meadow was already up and in bed with Malaya. They got up and headed out to the kids' breakfast. They wanted the TV on and they wanted to play with their toys. Everyone woke up around 9 a.m. Malaya said she tidied the house throughout the day and looked after the kids. She said she also scrolled her phone at one point because she was overstimulated. Hold on a minute, you guys. See, Daniel makes a point of talking about how he even had to leave work to attend to the kids because Malaya couldn't handle it. When they go in stores, he's in the car with the kids or he takes the kids in. The only one that Malaya worries about his Meadow, the baby, always on her hip, right? But let's go back and listen a little closer. She had blank in New Glasgow. We know it's a doctor appointment, y'all. In the afternoon on Thursday, and she and Daniel went with all the kids. They drove her 2017 white Nissan Pathfinder. They went to the big stop for gas, and she thought they may have gotten the kids bagels at Tim Hortons. Daniel stayed in the car with the kids when she got groceries, then, or prescription or whatever, right? Then they went to Starbucks drive-thru before going home. What'd they get? The kids a coffee? You feel me? In the evening, she was going to do some cleaning, but she was too tired. The kids were watching a show on TV. She put Lily and Jack to bed first, then Meadow, and then went to bed herself. I'm really worried about that timeline. That's super concerning to me. Already the very evening that the very last evening she has with the kids, and she's stating she was overstimulated. And Daniel's nowhere. That evening, there's no mention of Daniel. She was going to do some cleaning, but she was too tired. The kids were watching a TV show. She put Lily and Jack to bed first. All right, let's look at the next one. Daniel worked every Monday at whatever, hardwood sawmill. They were having a hard time getting wood in, so he only worked 1 day a week. So where the hell's Daniel? She said when he was not working, Daniel would help his mother with building the fence and bringing in wood because they used wood heat. She said he's an involved parent and would help her especially when she was overwhelmed. She can't handle these kids alone. He was not aggressive with the kids, but had a voice they listened to. There was never any physical discipline. Lena Lay says if the children ran away, why didn't they first call Janie? Janie had to ask what was going on. First red flag, truly. Carol says there is never any meals there or care for the children. No clothing changes, no pull-up changes, no toothbrush, no hugs, no kisses, nothing. Absolutely detached from them and lying, all of them. Okay, you're right. And we're missing the whole night of Thursday. Is that when the buck stopped? When he was out there getting firewood for the night and working with Jamie out in the yard, Malaya's in the house trying to put the baby to bed, and Lily and Jack to bed, she's overstimulated. The kids are hyper. Let's see what else she says. That evening, she got the kids something to eat. That's all we have. We don't know what it is. They were watching TV. She said they might have gone outside sometime to play. She doesn't even know, right? Because it didn't happen this way. She's missing this time. But they came in when it was getting dark. She got their teeth brushed. So they were in the bathroom, y'all. And they wore their clothes to bed because all their clothes were still in bags from when she washed them at her grandmother's house, which would have been Wednesday, the day before. She hadn't got around to putting them away. Lily and Jack were hyper and excited, but she got them tucked into bed around 10 p.m. She tucked them into bed around 10 p.m. Isn't it ironic that exactly 12 hours later, just like I said, the timeline flipped. It was 10 a.m. when they called 911. Can't even make it up if I tried. And she's all filled with pain and sorrow. We are filled with pain and sorrow. All right, let's look at Malaya here. Left, I'm just going to read it out. I've got 2 pages of it. You do too. You've got a ton of information here to share, right? Left within 36 hours of children missing. Never used social media to share missing poster. Only did 1 media interview. Never spoke the children's name in the interview. Attempted to gain access to the children's fundraiser. Do you remember that one? Didn't hear from Malaya forever. Didn't even know what happened to her. They start trying to do a fundraiser in Jack and Lily's honor for Jack and Lily. All of a sudden, Malaya and Cheryl, her friend, surface. Trying to get that fundraiser in Cheryl's name or Malaya's name. Okay. How about the current and history of medical unwellness? That's alarming, right? Children unclean and bruised often. Allison, hyper and excited, yet still managed to get them tucked into bed, and she herself was overstimulated. I wouldn't know that, Tara. I have no idea. I just know that, I'll just say a little bird told me. Maybe not. It's not great sadness, I guess. It is a great sadness, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Reserved for grief. I would think so, too. Okay, what now? I can't say how, but I can say that is when they passed away, in my opinion, they didn't make up the story for Thursday. They didn't think they'd be asked. I think it all happened Thursday, and that left a problem if they're sharing, they flip the time. But you could be right too, Truth Train coming through. Malaya's little friend Cheryl's an enabler and a witch, and she knows what happened in your opinion. Thank you, Carol. I think a lot of us agree. Mary Stevens, I really want to know if the rugs they had, if they were lollies or cookies. Who wrote this story? I don't know, lovely. Mary Ann Morley says yes, yes, yes. Okay. Let's continue, you guys. So, children unclean and always bruised often. She was required immediately by CPS to be supervised around her own baby. Y'all picked up on that too? She literally was required immediately to be supervised around the baby. That don't happen in most missing person cases. In fact, panic set in when she ran with the baby to the lawyer without supervision, and the baby was taken away and put in foster care. True story. All the family, everyone from both sides have said that Meadow was her only focus. That it appeared that Jack and Lily fell to the wayside. She just got her car. She just got her license. Casey Anthony 2.0. She didn't want the baggage of the stress, the mental anxiety of hearing Lily screaming and Jack crying and all this and throwing his boots and not listening to her. It's very possible. She reported them absent from school without even checking on them. And Janie was already raking the driveway the night before. So there's some premeditation. Allegedly, there was bathwater. I put that she ran a bath, but I guess it's that I heard that there was bathwater there, but she never said she bathed them. Both Janie and Daniel claiming they were outside until dark. leaving Malaya alone in the trailer, possibly with all the children. Is that why Dee only worked 1 day a week? And who supervised when he was working? Janie? Right, Allison? Good question. Tara Foster says this theory hits truer than anything else I've heard. I said this is the one theory that seems to hold water, no pun intended. Hey, Babs Red, good to see you, my beautiful. Michelle says, yeah, and Janie said she usually phoned Malaya in the morning, but never that morning, because obviously she wouldn't have a cause if they weren't there. Yeah. Susan Sylvia says, Daniel said he puts the kids to bed every night, except for that night, right? No one put them to bed Thursday night. Malaya passed out, in my opinion. Postpartum depression, WSEM. I think there's a lot of that in this case. So let's start. Remember, you guys, every time we hear an interview, when they're describing the first part of this whole thing, they talk about the silence of not hearing the children. Because that was the most shocking part. Because these children are loud. We know that. They make noise all the time. They talk all the time. They'll talk your ear off. They're loud. They're aggressive. This is what the parents are saying. No victim shaming here. I'm saying, is that how Malaya saw her children? Was she completely overstimulated? Because she told Daniel. She did not ask him, do you hear the children? Do you hear the children? Do you hear the children? Anybody hear the children? No. Malaya said with her own mouth, she told him, do you hear the children? You see what I'm saying, how she told him? She told him. Her partner, Daniel. Do you hear the children? It's creepy. Because the room was silent. There were no more children's voices. Lily's scream. Was it silenced? Well, everybody was outside raking and doing whatever. I don't know. Janie claims Malaya was standing with the baby Meadow on her hip in the driveway when she asked where the children were, and Malaya said they're missing. Did Malaya come out there after this happened and just be weird, like they were talking, just kind of like she did something wrong, but they didn't know what? And they were like, Janie said, what's up? Did Malaya actually not say missing, but say the children are gone? It's night now. It's dark. Did Daniel fly in the house? Fling the light on in the children's room? See one child tucked in a bed that was no longer with them? Find the other floating in the water? I don't know. Her behavior seemed to shock Daniel and Janie, like it was weird. They tried to express how weird that felt. I think there's something to that. Belinda even said Malaya seemed overly calm. Logan said Malaya seemed unaffected. Malaya's interview, she does seem very calm and, as a lot of you say, a lack of urgency. She stated, we're all filled with pain and sorrow, which sounds like grief. And she was okay with it. You could see she had her resolve. As if to say, it's not just me. Others are filled with pain and sorrow. We're all filled. Just relax. We're all experiencing this together. A mother does not use the word we. It's I am filled with grief, or I am filled with sorrow, or whatever. It's me, my children, not everybody's children. But really important, not only does she not say these children names once, she says everybody loves them. Malaya never says she loves them. She didn't say we love them. She said everybody loves them. She doesn't plead to someone that may have taken her children or describe them like our poster, our commenter said. She doesn't say, listen, my kids are only 4 and 6. Lily's got dark brown hair about this long. Where is all that? Doesn't happen. Could medicine have been used to pass the polygraph? I believe it's true. I believe it could have. In the interview, this is something I'm never going to forget, is her saying the exact words that last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. So were they in their beds the night before? And was that the other worst night? Because there's another worst night. Because this is one of, which means one of what? One of 2, one of 3 worst nights? How about the worst night is when you don't have your children in their beds? But was there a worst night? Did she have a bad night? You know what I'm saying, right?
Begin this half hour, though, with the case.
Years after.
Let's see where it was. Let's see where it was. Okay. Was there a worse night, Malaya?
Society thinks I am. I'm far from it. Something went very wrong that night. I was not myself.
The last time she spoke publicly was in 1994. A distraught mother begging the public for help in finding her boys, 14-month-old Alex and 3-year-old Michael, claiming they had been kidnapped by a black man during a carjacking.
I can't even describe what I'm going through. I mean, my heart is just, it just aches so bad. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't do anything but think about it.
But in a jaw-dropping twist, just days later, Smith confessed to police that there was no kidnapping. She said she strapped her boys into the backseat of the family car and pushed it into a nearby lake. Now in the...
She was having a bad night. Lilly says, Lena Leigh says, in my opinion, on Thursday, they made a trip to the pharmacy for Malaya. Perhaps she was in crisis mode. Very well could be, my love. Mary Stevens says Janie had her heart checked since she was told she had a heart condition by the polygraph people, or not. Good question. Carol says, it seems to me that Malaya spent all of her time laying around in bed with Meadow on her phone or on the TV. That's why Meadow couldn't walk. That's why Jack and Lily were constantly neglected, in your opinion. Thank you, lovely. I know it's truly a theory that has me asking, does this theory hold water? When I move forward and I think of all the water references that Daniel has leaked, it's shocking to think about. When we think of the way that this mother, if you remove Daniel from this scenario, remove Jeannie, and we just focused at Malaya, her behavior and the actions she has taken and the words she has spoken, even though there are a few, suggest something is extremely off. Very, very, very wrong. We know that she has mental issues. Hospitals are involved, medications involved. She can't even be alone with her daughter, Meadow. It's wild. Kim says a postpartum theory, maybe. But did she complain of depression? I've never heard anybody in the family complaining that she spoke to anybody about being depressed. I find that weird. Even Daniel spoke of her mental state could affect their daughter, Meadow. So, you know, I do think there is talk of that. Carol Johnson says, no, Meadow could not walk at all at 15 months. She couldn't even stand on her own, from what I can tell. Malaya was constantly carrying her. I don't know if she was a human shield. I don't know. Yeah, she told no, she just told, right? She told him. Do you hear the kids? That's wild. Susan Silvery says, OMG, that is what happens when a baby is constantly carried. Yes. Wonder if the beds were found to be noticeably wet. Something has keyed the RCP up to do these polygraphs with the assumption that these children have passed. Tara, I don't know what meds, but I know she was supposed to be on meds. Exactly. For sure. I agree with you, Carol. I do. Rachel Phillips, hello. Malaya did not shed a tear. Psychotic depression mixed with postpartum with anxiety with medication. Should we be looking for the not fit for trial in your opinion? Thank you, lovely. Human shield is a consideration. Yeah. You're with me about the bath. Said it from day one. All right, I'm going to go get this. Now, I think I have it to where I can put it on the screen. So we're going to do some work in progress. I'm going to find a screen that I can put it on. Okay, we're going to put it on Daniel's screen. All right, give me just a minute, you guys. I'm going to go get the letter that Malaya recently wrote. And in light of what we've discussed, I want us to think about that. If I don't find it on the computer, I know I got it on my phone. So let's just see if I can find it. And hopefully we can read it. I got it. Hopefully we can read it. I'm going to read it on my phone, but I will leave you up here to be able to see it that way. Okay? All right, hold on, y'all. Let me go to my own, because I need a close-up to be able to read this, right? Okay. I want to talk about some of the things said here. There's some disturbing thoughts in this theory, and then listen to her recent letter. And I might not be able to read it perfect because it is hard to read. As a mother, I love my children more than life. What does that say? More than life itself. And I feel so heartbroken. I actually can read it better on the screen, so let's try that. As a mother, I love my children more than life itself, and feel so heartbroken not to be able to hold my two children, Lily and Jack. So she's now queued up to be able to remember to say their names for the first time. The hold, when she never held them, she was always holding Meadow. It almost feels leakage to me. This kills me too when she says this. Kiss them, breathe in their scent. That's leakage to me. It's almost as if worried about the scent of the children, and we're talking about dogs searching for them and scent. Also the breathe comment, that's just kind of weird to me. But she goes on to say, or tuck them into bed. See, she's always talking about tucking these kids into bed. That's a bad sign. Okay? The last thing I would care about is tucking my kid into bed. I would hold them and keep them up forever. I'd be so happy to have them back. But she wants to tuck them into their bed again. She's talking about dressing them. She couldn't even dress them half the time. They went to bed in dirty clothes, right? She couldn't even get their clothes out of the car. So no. Wake up to see their sweet smiling faces. The whole wake up thing's weird. The longing I have for them to come home back to me. That's not even making sense. To come home back to me. The longing for them to come home back to me is a greater feeling that I could never imagine feeling. She can't even imagine feeling it. Listen to that. The longing I have for them to come home back to me is a greater feeling than I could never imagine feeling. She could never imagine feeling that way. Not only does she not feel it, she can't even imagine it. She can't even put it into words, she says, how I am feeling. I bet not. There is not one single day, minute, or second that goes by that I am not thinking about my children. I walk into a store and all I see are things that they love, that I want to get for them when they come home. They already like. Oh, the candy they like. The clothes they wear. The toys they love. All I see is them. Are they haunting you, hon? I so desperately just want them home safe and sound. There's that sound thing. Back into my arms. So I'm just saying, they were in her arms, right? Where I will never let them go. Back in my arms where I will never let them go. I am truly traumatized. Okay, now we're going to get on to how Malaya feels. Not once in this has she suggested that the children could be hurt, that she's scared for them, that she's worried for them. No. But now we're on to how Malaya feels. I'm truly traumatized not being able to hear. To hear is twice. Look at this. It'd be one thing to repeat it if you're saying it, but she's writing it. Not being able to hear, to hear. The sweet sound of their voices, their laugh, when they would sing the Gobble Dollhouse song, that now only makes me cry when I hear it, because all I hear is Lily and Jack singing along, not being able to breathe in their scent, right? There's their scent again. Not being able to breathe. Scent, their scent. That's weird. When I embrace them tightly. What does that mean? When are you embracing them tightly? I hear it because all I hear is Lily and Jack singing along, not being able to breathe. In their scent, when I embrace them tightly. That is a warped sentence. When are you embracing them tightly? I don't want these memories to be memories. I bet you don't. I want my babies back home. There's that home thing. My Lily Mae and Jackie, the pure pain I suffer. Look at that. Lilani, right? Lilani Simon. My Lily Mae and Jackie, the pure pain I suffer, or just not knowing where they are has impacted my life, how her life has been impacted, my life, not just hers, but Meadows and my family in the most devastating way. Life feels extremely hard to keep going with no answers. It is just pure lostness. Like I can no longer feel, right? She has no feelings, right? At home anymore. No matter how lost I feel, I have not ever given up hope that my children will be returned. Now, see right here where it says will be returned? Then how's it up here? Be returned, right? Now this is harder for me to see. She says home to me safe and sound. There's that sound word again. I have all the faith and hope. In what? She didn't even say. I will see them. Oh, faith and hope. I will see them again. Oh, please, anyone. She finally learned to ask for help. You know, please, anyone with any information. No matter how small, please come forward. Please do not be afraid to use your voice. This is all about sounder. Afraid to use your voice to help bring home Lily and Jack. Even the smallest details are crucial. And now she's going to thank the RCMP and everybody. But real parents are disappointed because they don't have anything to show for all the efforts. They're frustrated. They'll do things like, go over and, like Seth, stand in front of the police department on camera and do a live by himself going, I don't know what they're doing. I haven't heard anything. My son's still missing. No, she's thanking them, right? Okay. And she says, I am so incredibly grateful and thankful for all the ongoing efforts of the RCMP, major crimes, I bet, search and rescue, and please bring me home. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit and Please Bring Me Home continue to investigate, and they need your help. You can share tips anonymously at Please Bring Me Home. And she just goes through this. She says, I will never stop searching for my children, doesn't say their names, just her children, until they are found or brought home safe and, there it is again, sound. Someone somewhere knows something. So please help bring my babies home. To the incredible volunteers, searchers, and so forth, so forth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She says, you and the hope of my children. I'm down here now. Right? Combing through the woods and sharing pictures, refusing to give up. You and the hope my children will be home, and my youngest daughter are the reason I hold strength and keep going. You've shown me that that love, kindness, and compassion still shine even in the darkest times. Everything you've done has not gone unnoticed. She can't even spell her name right. Something's wrong there. She can't even spell Murray. She put Maury. She can't even get Malaya's name right, and it doesn't even look like Brooks is spelled right. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But there's a lot here about, not being able to breathe, to hear, they're sent. It's all over this, right? And how she's affected. Ruby for Justice says, I'm thinking about Jack's birthday party and how Lily was screaming. Can you imagine if Lily screamed like that all the time? It wouldn't be something where I'd want to hurt her, though. I would get her help and therapy and work with her. I agree. It would freak you out, but you also would know something's very wrong with the child. One of the worst nights. The missing is the worst, in your opinion, Prime. Right? I'm way behind in chat because I had to read all that, but Carol says she no longer has the children to come home, whether she is personally responsible for that demise or Daniel is physically. She remained in a violent, dangerous situation with 3 children. True. Mary Stevens says, yep, living in the trailer didn't allow her to buy them what they wanted. That says exactly what she was living. Yeah. All right, my lovelies. Long live, right? Very rarely do I have this long of a live, ever. But I had to get it out, and I had to say, you know, this boils down for me a whole new way of looking at this case. If Malaya, hypothetically, was the aggressor with the children, that really puts Daniel in a rock and a hard place, because he is going to be suspected. These kids have had bruises, school's called, CPS is involved. It's frustrating. You're right. She had a way out, right, beautiful Rose? She had a way out, regardless of how depressed she was. It was thought Daniel hurt them kids. She should have been out. A lot of women don't have a way out. She had a way out. Right, Calissa Cats. Neglected and abused children more often have learning disabilities, and they'll also have a behavior that mimics autism, that mimics Asperger's, for instance, and so forth. Sometimes it's actually the children are being abused. Aw, Allison. Thank you, my love. Thank you. She says, before you go, please show your appreciation for Mama's live and hard work. Only takes a second to hit the thumbs up, and I'll add, it's free to hit the thumbs up, and thank you. Hey, Whoopi Love. I don't believe these kids were as carefree and happy as they like to make out. I don't either. Granny expected them to be seen, not heard. I think Malaya needed Daniel. And that's the thing. I think that's the motive here. Whether it's mental illness, postpartum depression. Just wait, Jack. I'm not done. My dog knows. He's got this figured out. Like, when I'm ready to leave, he'll come here and he'll try to get in my lap because he's like, you're free. Let's go play. Just wait. You have to wait. Just wait. The dogs are like, hurry up. But in all sincerity, everything that I've heard in this entire case suggests that there was no way Malaya could handle being on her own, alone with these children. Was that her motive? Was that a motive for her? Is that a motive? Really makes you wonder. I remembered that, Rachel. Her mother said something like Malaya will have to face the consequences for her action. This makes me feel she knows more. The fact that when the first spoke, Daniel starts to say, ever since Friday morning when we noticed the two, he started to say kids and replaced it with children. I got children are to be seen. I almost feel like he started to say something with an M, but that could be me. That could be me. All right, my lovelies, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, absolutely fantastic New Year's and a wonderful New Year's Eve. Let's give the goat We're going to head into 2026, and I think that's the year the truth is going to come out for Lilly and Jack Sullivan and a lot of these children that deserve the truth out and never deserved what happened to them. I seriously do pray every single day for all of these children in my heart. I ask you to do the same. We are going to hit the go one final time for the year. I love you guys to the moon and back. God bless you all. There you have it. We're moving on in to the new year. And we struggled in 2025. Jackson, stop. Thank you. We struggled in 2025, but I really do believe, we're going to be successful in 2026. Love you to the moon and back. Bye for now.